we've kind of touched on this at the very beginning as well, just around innovative contracting and thinking about kind of these annuity-based payments value or outcomes-based contracting specifically. As Art said earlier, kind of there's been a lot of to-do and discussion around some of the examples, but it doesn't seem like there's been a whole lot of traction, I guess, in contracts that are just beyond sort of a flat discount. Do you guys see that changing in the future? I know with some of the CAR-Ts and with Luxturna specifically, this discussion comes up, but just any thoughts on if we're going to get more traction in the kind of the outcomes-based or annuity-based contracts moving forward?
Well, it certainly is getting a lot of discussion, I can say that, but I think Art summarized it well. Lots of discussion and, not a lot of action at this point. And a couple of things contribute to that. Hospitals tend to move fairly slowly. And although there's a lot of discussion, people are still trying to figure out best processes around these high-cost drugs, and CAR-T is a great example. They're still developing their programs to administer these products. And that's going on at the same time trying to have discussions about how to get reimbursed for it. Everybody's comfortable with the old method, and change comes slowly. So that's an issue with any kind of creative form of reimbursement. And I think the other issue with the value-based contracts, particularly in oncology, is that it's very labor-intense for the provider in many ways, who has a lot of data reporting that they are responsible for in terms of what are the outcomes and when did they occur and so on and so forth. But there's not a whole lot in it for them. The same is true back to the health.
Today, the big question is it worth the time and effort to do these? And that's what we're looking for. Right? There's a few payers in my area that are all gung-ho about this. But again, I think they're using it more of, hey, we're doing something different, we're getting ahead of the game per se. But at the end of the day, is it really worth it? Has it changed anything? Has it improved outcomes? Has it reduced costs? I don't know.
And I would say, Andrew, I see it similar to Fred and Art's comments that there may be a lot of work here, and it may not yield a lot of benefits. But I would also say we don't want to be negative. I mean, I'm always interested in the discussion, and there may be something that makes sense, but I also think there's a lot more discussion and a lot less outcomes, as Art would say. And if we had more information around outcomes, I think it would actually support this. But to be fair about it, it's worth having a discussion about an opportunity, but those opportunities are going to, at least in this point for us, fairly few and pretty much far in between.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. And again, part of this is also falls down to what the outcome is. Is it something that's measurable for the health plan? But then we talked about oncology in one previous example, and measuring overall survival could be a good metric, but then you don't really want a situation where the health plan is getting reimbursed if the member dies, for example. So I think there's a lot of things need to fall into place, Donald, as you said, for this to kind of really to work out.
No, I would agree.
But it's not so much is the outcome measurable. When is it measurable, right? If it's something that you have to wait 10 years from now, it ain't going to be worth it. But if you're going to offset an MI within 1 year, you're going to be able to see that. That's a different story.